Thanks for joining us in the Green Room from the Heritage Foundation. I'm Rob Bluey, and today we're joined by Gary Sinise, Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump, and a star on CSI New York. Gary, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So to begin, tell us how you became such a strong advocate for the U.S. military.
Oh, it's several things. I have veterans in my family. My dad was in the Navy for a little while. His two brothers were in World War II, one in the Pacific, one in a B-17 over Germany. My grandfather was in the Army in World War I, and then on my wife's side, I have Vietnam veterans. Her two brothers served in Vietnam, and her sister was a captain in the Army. Her sister married a Vietnam veteran who was in the Army for 24 years. So, there's kind of veterans all around me in my family. I got involved with Vietnam veterans groups early in the 80s and supported them out of the Chicago area. Then I got involved with disabled American veterans. When I played a disabled Vietnam veteran in Forrest Gump, actually they called me and invited me to their national convention, which I went to, and I was very moved by the people I met there and stayed actively involved with that organization. And then September 11th came along, and I just, having been around veterans for many, many years, having a strong memory of what happened to our Vietnam veterans when they came home from war, I just had to do something. And remember, there was a feeling of vulnerability and fear and grief and all kinds of things after September 11th, and I just needed to channel that into something, something positive. And so I started supporting our troops and going out there and visiting them on a regular basis, and that's been, 10 years solid now with the active duty troops that we have out there.
So now you have the Lieutenant Dan Band, and a new documentary is out. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, a friend of mine, filmmaker from California, found out that I was doing concerts and visiting troops and going to the hospitals, doing all kinds of things, and he asked me if he could document one of my concerts. And so I took him to the first concert I took him to was actually a concert that I was playing for the children of our fallen military heroes. And so you had 800 children in there who lost a mom or dad in the war, and I was playing a concert for them. It was obviously very, I was trying to pick their spirits up, but it was obviously an emotional period, and he ended up seeing that, interviewing some of those children, interviewing some of their parents, and talking to the spouses of husbands who had been killed, and it was very emotional. He got very very hooked on what I was doing there, and asked to come to another concert, and then another, and then I said, well, I'm going to Iraq. You want to follow me there? And I went on a handshake tour to Iraq and just left the band at home and went on my own, and he came with me there, and I introduced him to firefighters in New York and all kinds of people that I love. And he made a very beautiful film called Lieutenant Dan Band for the Common Good, and we're going to launch it online on July 4th at lieutenantdanbandmovie.com. You'll be able to go in there, you pay $4 and watch the film online for about 30 days from starting July 4th.
Great. Well, Gary, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
For the Heritage Foundation, I'm Rob Bluey. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great videos.